are back, and this is Mind Science, where we talk about mind transformation as well as what really is mindset change. We are back like we had promised last time we were here, and the last episode we looked at, the mind and also the Bible, trying to find out if man is the way the Bible puts it, if man is the way the Bible puts it. And today we're looking at mind and belief, because we are taught that there is a thin line, and also issues to do with the mind and the heart. We'll be able to open the phone line towards the end of the program. You'll be able to call in and add your voice. Those of you that are joining us on Facebook page, you can drop your comment or your message or your question, and the mindset expert will be able to respond to your concerns, your questions, as well as your comment. I'm your host. My name is Tabula Kelvin Chifoko, and my guest, like always, is a mindset expert, Richwell Siamunene. Sir, it's good that we are back again.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, viewers.
Indeed, a recap, we looked at certain, Bible verses, and Mr. Siamunene promised that we will be able to read some of those verses or chapters in order for us to understand what we are discussing or talking about in terms of man and the mind. Now, mindset and beliefs. Maybe a recap, Honorable, of what we discussed in the last episode.
Yes, thank you very much. And once more, we are talking about the mind. We are here to talk about the mind because we realize that mind is very, very important in the lives of a human being. God said, let us create man in our own image, in our own likeness. Man was created in the likeness of God. Now, do we see God? The answer is no. Now, which part of man is like God? The only part of man that we can say is like God is the mind, because the mind is invisible and God is invisible. So, therefore, God created man in his own image, in the mind of God. Okay? From the mind of God, man or man's mind was created. So man must be conform his mind with that of God, because God is a creator of everything. Everything that you see in this whole panorama of the universe comes from the mind of God. Now, if comes from the mind of God, that means the mind of God is creative, and God is a creator for sure. Now, he created man in his own image, and the only dimension where man can be in that likeness is the mind. Now, by the same token, now man becomes a creator. By the same consequence, man becomes a creator because God is a creator, and God creates man in his own image. And since man was created in the image of God, and the only dimension that we can say man is like God is the invisible part. And the invisible part of man is the mind. Okay? You can put it that way, that God himself is a thinking substance from which all things are made, and in which in his original states permeates, penetrates, and fills all interspaces of the universe. That means that God is everywhere. The mind of God is everywhere. Now, if the mind of God is everywhere, he must be in man. Okay? Then man must conform to the standard of God. Okay? So, that is why we attach importance in terms of mind, that man must use his mind properly. Okay? Man has destroyed himself. Man has built himself. By the same misuse of the mind, man has destroyed himself. By abnormal use of his mind, man has created things that he is running away from now. He has created the guns, he has created the bombs, he has created everything from the mind, which are destructive. Now, from the same mind, man has created the things that we are using now, the cell phone, everything, the airplane, and everything that we see that we are using in our lives. They all come from the mind, because man is a creator. He was made in the image and likeness of God. So, why do we have the difference then? If all men, when I'm talking about men, I'm including women and everybody else, because the Bible talks about man. Woman is part of man, and man. So that's in order to make it clear to our women not to be biased, we can say humanity or human beings. Now, that is how things are supposed to be. So mind is very important. In this case, when you look at the Bible, the whole 66 books of the Bible, they are all telling us how to operate our minds. So the Bible becomes the manual of mind operation. It tells you the mind of God, how the mind of God is like. And then it tells you how the mind of man must conform to the mind of God. Now, once man departs from the mind of God, he suffers the consequences. That is why, according to the mind science, the departure of man or departure of human beings from the mind of God is why we have these problems that we are faced with in this world. Because Adam thought that he was not like God, and he thought to be like God was to eat a tree or a fruit, and that is why we are suffering today, because of not that knowledge that I and my Father are one. So the mind of man, the mind of God must be one. It was one in the beginning, and that's what we discussed. It was one in the beginning, and the whole books of the Bible, they are telling us how you can become one. At the end, the Genesis, God and man were one. And the revelation again at the end, when now the truth had been revealed, okay, then we will discover that the mind of man and the mind of God is one. And then they will know, that's why the Bible says there will not be anyone to score a woman a gentle or a word. They will all be the same, meaning that the mind of man has finally come to its true nature, and that is of God. So the thinking, the belief, everything else that emanates from the mind will be one with that of God, and that's what we discuss. Now, we have differences in this world. I think that's a question that is should be asked and should be answered. We have differences in this world. We have the rich, we have the poor, we have those who achieve things with difficulties. We have those who achieve things with less difficulties. Where is the problem? We need to identify. The problem is not the area. The problem is not the pigment of your skin. The problem is not where you are born from or where you are now, because we have seen that if it were because of the area where you live, we would have not seen people coming from Europe, people coming from Asia, people from elsewhere coming in Zambia and getting rich, or in Africa getting rich. We have seen there are short people who are rich, there are tall people who are poor. So we can find both poor and rich in terms of the height. So it's not the height. Or we have seen people who are rich, who are from Africa. We have seen people who are rich. So the problem where we have what we have in Africa or in Africa in general and Zambia is that we have not come to our true realization of the weapon that we have in terms of mind. So we have not used our mind correctly, and that is why we are where we are. And until that time,
you've talked about a place that it's not a place. Let's talk about the belief. Today we're looking at mind and belief. There is a belief. There are people that have made it after leaving the village, coming into town, because what was in their minds was that here in the village I won't make it unless I go into town. That is when I'll make it. And true, after leaving the village, coming into town, people have made it. Is it not the mind which is a driving force, and indeed what they believed in came into reality?
No, it's because a belief itself is a product of the mind. You cannot see a belief, you cannot touch a belief. It's something that somebody has changed his or her mind from that of lack to that of that when I reach this position, when I reach this area, I will be like this. I want to give you an example of the disciples of Jesus. When they were taught the day of Pentecost, when they were taught that when you go to that area, you have to behave in this order. And because they behaved in that order, they prayed in one accord and they were changed. So it can be just to trick somebody or to trick, say you can even trick yourself. That when I go to such an area, I will be rich. And for sure, because the mind has to produce it. The mind is a creator. Is the only creator there is in this world. Is the mind. So since the mind is a creator, and then because you have believed, it has been done to you as you have believed. And as the Bible does also state that fact that as you have believed, it has been done unto you. So those people who come in Africa, those who come from the village to Lusaka or anywhere, they come with that belief, they come with that mental state. It's a mental state. That's why it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. All these things that you want shall be added unto you. Now, what does it mean? It means that you have to have mental state of that position that you want. You are supposed to have a mental state of that thing that you want. And when you have it in your mind, when you have it mentally, then you will have it physically. It will come into physical reality.
There are things, Honorable, where people would decide to say, if I continue with this job, I won't go anywhere. I need to quit, or I need to look for greener pastures. They will quit. But something else, the opposite will happen. You will discover that even their status will even go down. Maybe they are even better off in that job. And the others who make up their mind say, I need to quit this job if I'm to make it in life. They go for another job and they make it in life. Where is the problem? The others who say, no, in Lusaka or in town, I'm not doing anything, I'm not being productive. Let me go back to the village. The village that people are living, coming into town, and they prosper. And somebody will leave town, go into the village, and prosper. Yep. Talking of the environment, the mind and the belief, what happens there?
Yeah, you see, the environment itself, okay, it can be a switching station. Okay, if you go to a certain environment and you believe that when you get into that environment, you'll be prosperous, you are going to be prosperous indeed. Because, well, that's why we're talking about changing the mental state. So the belief itself is a mental transaction. It's a mental transaction that you do in your mind, that you change your thinking from thinking poverty to thinking wealth, from thinking failure to thinking success. Okay? I can give you a practical example, maybe from the demonstration from the Bible. Okay? As what was we were told by the great man that lived on this planet Earth, Jesus. He mentioned in Mark 9 Mark 9:23 and Mark 10:27. So he talked about belief itself. Okay? If you can believe, all things are possible. So belief itself does not only work to those who go to church. No. It can work to a Chinese, it can work to a European, it can work to whoever. As long as there is a mental transaction which you have changed from, or mental transformation from that which you don't want to the thing that you want in your mind. So you have that thing in your mind. Okay? That is why if you look at your phone, this phone at one time, it was called, the fiction. Okay? It was something that is not real. Okay? Now, because it was becoming real in the minds of the people, then somebody had to do it. Because whatever the mind imagines, visualizes, for a long time, then it becomes a belief. Then it will be brought on the screen of space. Okay? That is how things have come into being. They have been first realized in the mind. They have been first owned in the mind, created in the mind. And then somebody comes now to do it practically and benefit the whole entire globe. So the belief itself is very, very important. The mind itself is very, very important because the belief comes from the mind. Something that you have been thinking over and over becomes a belief. So anything that is stored there, becomes a belief, it will be done. It doesn't, because it doesn't care whether it's negative or positive. But you can cheat me here that no, I will be like, because if in your mind there is that, because the whole realization is about mental. So since mental is secret, so the way you are going to transform, you say, but this person was talking about this. It was in his secret mind, okay, where he was meditating through. But you may be saying something, but in your mind you are thinking something. Then that's what you are thinking is the one that will come into visible reality. So that is how the mind operates. Now, why are we having such a program? Because we know that we are lagging behind. We are not achieving things. It is all about mental. It's about our mental state. It's about our mind. So it's about our mind. Because we think we can't do. Because we think it's only this particular race that can do. Then because we believe that only this particular pigment or skin color or what can do, then because we have given them power, those people, to do it for you. Instead of you giving yourself power, self-belief, then you have given others, and others will be doing for you because you have not realized your potential, because you have not realized that we are all created in the image and likeness of God.
Let's talk about internal and external. You've talked about, because we have believed, you've talked about the skin tone. The internal and external belief, because this is what I've been taught, or this is what I see. This is the color of people that more like they are destined to prosper. This is what I'm feeling from inside of me. This is what I believe in. Which one will overpower each other, or which one is likely to give results? The external, where you've been taught or you were able to see, then gets into your mind and you believe, or something that is inside of you, no one is telling you, you haven't seen it anywhere, but it's your personal conviction. Which one is likely to give desired results and overpower the other?
Yeah, because if you see something, depending if it is negative or positive, or life affirming, okay, or destroying life. Because it's whatever that you see, whatever that you hear, it depends now is what is it? Is it building or destroying? Now, if what you see or what you observe or what you are told is destroying, then you have destructive things in your life. But if it is building, okay, if it's building and you've internalized it, okay, then you have beautiful things in your life. You have life-affirming things happening in your life. So it depends there. So internal, there is believing in the external and believing in the internal.
Yes.
So if you believe in the external, you have problems in your life, which means you are now a slave to the external thing that are controlling you. So you must be controlled by the internal, because the internal is God in action. The external, which means you are believing things outside yourself. Now, if you are believing things outside yourself, you will only wait until that thing is there. But if that thing is not there, then your power goes. It's like you believe that in order to have power, you need to have money. You need to have, you need to be a chief executive. You need to be a minister. And when that power goes, then you come to zero and suffer the consequences. So that is why you must believe in the eternal. You must believe in yourself that I am like this, and I am made in the image and likeness of God, and God is existing in me, and He will give me all things that I need to do in my life, and I will succeed whatever comes, because I know that the one working in me is God. I will give you a practical example. There are two things. There are two people that I can refer to. There is Goliath and David. Goliath in the Bible believed in the weaponry. Okay? He believed in those things, sophisticated things that he had or he was carrying. And he thought that because David was carrying nothing, that's a catapult or whatever you can call it, then he was going to defeat David. But David was Goliath was a giant man in stature, and he believed in the external things to make him succeed. But David says, God that is in me will give you, will allow me to kill you today and give the body to the birds of the air. So, who defeated? The one who believed in the internal, and the one who believed in the external. So, the question is, we must at all times, if we want to succeed, in perpetuity, because believing in the external is short-lived.
You've talked about believing in the internal, and you've given a very, practical example, vivid example. There are also situations whereby people have seen something in you, and they come to you or approach you and say, you can make it. You can go for this. We've seen, for example, in the sport of boxing, where the trainer will say, my boxer is going for that title, and I believe that my boxer is going to get it. Let's talk about people coming to you, or somebody being told by people, for lack of better name, I'll say the external. They have seen something, then they say you can do it, go for it, and somebody goes for it and they prosper. Are you saying, again, there is such a scenario, you become a slave because you believe in the external?
Now, what have they done there? They have acted the way Jesus acted, because Jesus came here specifically to tell you who you are, that in you there is a great, the mighty God in you. And he says, what I'm doing, you can also do. So what was he doing? He was telling the people that you can do. So that person acted that he put that belief in you that you have the ability to do it. So that person is good, because he's telling you your potential.
Is it not an external?
External, but putting the internal. And it's you who is going to act. He's not giving you food, or he's not giving you banana. He's telling you, no, you can grow this banana so that you yourself, you produce it. from your internal being. Okay? He is making you aware of who you are. That person, he is giving you the inspiration to inspire you that you can manage this. You can do it. It's better than somebody who comes to you and do it. Okay, I will do it for you. He does for you, then he goes. Then tomorrow again, you want to call that person to come back and do it. Then you become a slave. The best person would be the one who comes to you and tell you that you can do it. This is a way you have the ability. You have everything that it takes. I remember one man who died who told me one thing. He said, no, you know what, Siamunene, you can do this thing that I'm doing. Just have the courage, you can do it. And for sure, I took the courage and started doing it. And I benefited more than when I was being given some token, say, oh, here you buy what, here. So that way, you are not impacting or you are not making that person self-sustainable. You will need to give somebody to internalize that in that person so that he is able to express himself, not you expressing on his behalf or on her behalf. Then it means that if you are gone, that person will go back to zero. And that is exactly what we are doing in Africa. What you are saying now is very, very important. And it's better to those who have aspired to get into leadership, those who are in leadership, to take this. The reason why we are suffering in this order is not that the country is poor. It's not that Africa is poor. Because we have believed the externals coming into us and said, this is how it is done, we'll give you the money, we'll give you what, and so on and so forth. Not giving us, internalize that, what they have done elsewhere, to say, look, you can do it. Africa, you can do it. The way to do it, have your mindset change and thinking about this. Now, we have been given handout every year, handout every. We have heard this from Kaunda. If my memory serves me better, from Kaunda countries in the east, countries in the west, they were been giving Zambia some handout, some donations of some kind. But yet poverty has not been eliminated, or has not been eradicated to a state where we can say we can sustain ourselves. So why? Because they have been giving us the external things, okay? Not the internal things, not the education, not the knowledge. So it's the knowledge and the wisdom that you need to have in order to create or make your own things and sustain you for a longer period. So that is why we are in this state, because we have believed people who are coming from outside that they can do it. And that is why we need to change our mindset. Instead of saying it's everywhere, it has not started right now, or it started long time. We have believed that only those who are coming from outside will be able to mine our gold, will be able to mine our copper, will be able to mine, because that is a mindset that we have given ourselves. Even those lower, say no, unless those comes, unless this one, and that they have taken advantage of our not knowing the importance of the mind.
Let's talk about, you've talked about Africa, and you've talked about people that come. We have believed in them that they have got solutions. You've talked about aid or donations that have been given to Zambia from the first president. Now we've got the seventh president. Zambia has continued to receive aid, but poverty levels have continued. Let me bring it to maybe, for example, at a constituency level. A local person or somebody from within a constituency or within a same district who tells people, we are going into an election, vote for me. You are going to see change in our constituency, district or ward or city. They vote a local person, but in the end, the opposite is what is true, that development is not coming. This is not an outsider. This is a person who was within, believed that he or she can bring development, convinced the people, who also changed their mind and bought into that idea or believed in that promise. But the reality is the opposite, where is the problem there?
The problem, which I can say, that that particular person, lied to the electorate, because the issue is that in the normal course of things, in a normal functional society, people must generate the wealth themselves. So the education that has to be done first, it's mind transformation. Before you give somebody money, before you give anyone, but you must first give the education that this is the way how wealth is created. So much so that in the minds of that particular individual or those or the constituent, they know that we have to create our own reality. Okay? Not the handout. That means that that particular person has not done a good service to the electorate. People must be told that, look, you are here on earth. You are here on earth not as an accident. God sent you here to do one thing that you know better. There's one thing that you know better than anyone else in this world. And that you are supposed to provide a service to the humanity. And then you do that. Okay? Now, if you don't tell your electorate, if you don't tell your people to change their mind first, even when you give that money, they will not utilize the money in a correct way. Because one, they have not transformed their minds to that of wealthy consciousness. They are still poverty consciousness. Since they are still poverty consciousness, they will spend all the money. That's why somebody says you can give all the billions that Bill Gates has or any other wealthy persons in this world. The money will still go back to that person because the people there, they have not transformed their mind. So we really need to change the mind first. The first thing that has to be done in any given situation where you want to bring change to the people, you must first change their mindset.
You've talked about man misusing the mind, and you've talked about man creating certain things that are a danger to him as we speak. Misuse of mind and belief. Do we have a point where a human being begins to misuse the mind and the belief? And what is the turning point? And also, is it possible for one to correct himself or herself after misusing the mind, or you can wait for an external force or an external person to come and correct your mind and your belief so that you begin to do the right thing and not to misuse the mind and the beliefs? There's
one thing that you need to realize. I think we have not done a good thing today. We have not brought the diagram that we have, the circle that we have, which tells you that we are all in that universal circle. We are all in God. Okay? And since we are all in God, we are all children of God. Okay? Now, the thing that we need to realize that as you live on this planet Earth, you remove the notion that you need, for you to prosper, you must injure somebody else, or somebody must cry somewhere for you to be happy. That is not the essence of our existence. We are supposed to be happy together. Okay? Now, because of that, men have created things that are destructive in nature to destroy others in order for them to thrive. That's what they think, which is not the case. According to God, that we are all children of God and we are all parts of the whole. So for one thing to do is to make sure that all parts of the whole are all in good order. Any injury to one part of the whole is injury to the whole. So any injury to one of his children is the injury to God. So if people are taught in that order from childhood, okay, from their beginning, their formative stages, they grow with that kind of mindset that we are all one in God. We are one, okay? The oneness, the unity, because God is a unity. God is not separate. He only separated himself to be you and me and others, just for activities, just for functioning, just for creating, so that you are endowed with something. I am also endowed with one thing that you are not yourself. So let me bring what I'm endowed with to benefit you. And you bring something, and the other one brings something. Then the society thrives in that order. Now, the people themselves, they have departed from that mindset. They have gone to destroy others in order for them to thrive. They have taken advantage of the ignorance of the others, or what they know. They don't want to teach others, only them, and so that they thrive themselves, so that they benefit from the ignorance.
Is it bad? Because this is my personal belief. This is my mind. I've made up my mind, and I'm doing very well. Am I wrong not to share the knowledge or the secret? Am I being? Is that not positive selfishness?
No, you are wrong. Because if you understand that your existence must benefit others, and your knowledge should not go to the grave, and that is why you and me here today, we are here in this hall, here, just because somebody did not keep his knowledge to himself or to herself, has to bring it here. We have the power here. Do you know that this power that you are enjoying, electricity, came from the mind of somebody? I think it's should be from America, Thomas A. Edison and Nikola Tesla, who thought that there is a law of electricity, and he made this, and did not make it a secret that you should not share to others, and he shared it to others, and today we have electricity everywhere. We are lit by it, because somebody did not keep that. But if he kept that, he would have gone to the grave with the same knowledge, and the man would have not benefited by now. The person who discovered this died a long time ago. So that is why you should not keep your knowledge. You should give it to other people, so that others may benefit from your knowledge. Because that knowledge that you have is God who has revealed it to you.
Mazawa Samson says the first thing someone was told to do something, and the internal personality believed and acted on what he or she believed, and the results are seen. And then Geoffrey Mudenda says, God made man, man made money, money made man mad.
Of course, money can make you mad.
Do you agree with Geoffrey Mudenda, who says God made man, man made money, money made man mad?
Of course, the only thing that I can tell you that man, his source is God. Okay? Money itself, it's for a good intention. Just because man did not understand his true nature, his purpose of existing, and the purpose of man was to transact easily, or to make transaction easily, not to have the barter system, which was there before you and me, okay? And it was difficult for you to have a truck of copper to go to Brazil and exchange with whether they have maize or whatever they have, and another truck comes here. So that's why they created money. Money is for easy transactions. It was for easy transaction, and it is for easy transaction. So because man drank himself in, did not know why he lives, does not know what is the purpose of money, he got drunk, and because he got drunk, okay, he started killing each other because of money. Okay, the problem is not money. There is an article which is misread, sometimes misinterpreted. They are saying that money is the root of all evil.
Yes,
it's not true. The Bible talks about the love of money. The love of money is the root of all evil. Why? Because there is a word love, and love must be applied to the love of a fellow human being. If we put love to a fellow human being, then money cannot make you mad. What will make you mad is to love your fellow human being. Okay? And if you are doing business for the sake of love, that's what I said, that because you have love to the entire humanity, then you say, what is it that I can contribute to the well-being of society? What is it that I can express to the world so that the world can benefit? What is it which I can contribute? Then you have love for society. You have love for a fellow human being. But what if you go in and say, let me make money? Then you have gone there for the love of money. And because you have gone there for the love of money, you'll be drunk with that. That's why other people are drunk with the power. They are drunk with what? When they have a lot of money, when they have what? They lose track. And they will end up to kill a fellow human being in order to have money, which is not our interest.
As we are now winding down, Mr. Siamunene, you've talked about the mind and what we have believed, that we believe that this can only be done by people that are coming from outside. And indeed, that has been, a reality. You say, even in the mines, minerals are discovered. There are people that will come in the name of experts. We've been told that even their salaries cannot be compared with the locals, because they are carrying the tag of being an expert because they're coming from outside. And you've talked about Africa not being poor, also Zambia not being poor, but it's because of what we have believed in. It's because of what we have fed our mind. What is the starting point, if at all we are to depart from what we have believed in and begin to believe in something else that will give us tangible results and not believing in the outsiders?
To answer you, read there, Mark. Read yourself, Mark 9:23 and Mark 10:27.
Mark 9:23. Jesus said unto him, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth.
Yes, to him that believeth, all
things are possible.
So, what do you need yourself? What do Zambia need? What do Africa need? They need belief to change their mind.
Are you saying we have not believed? Because we've believed in our leaders. We African countries now have been given or have the powers to choose their own leaders, their own brothers and sisters who are presiding over the affairs of the nation. Is that not enough belief?
The Bible has said, all things are possible to the one that believes. Okay? It means wrong beliefs also things are possible there. It didn't look at believing the good. Even you believe in the bad, that's why bad is coming. If you are facing difficulties in your life, just know that you are believing in something that is not correct. So you need to change your belief to that which you want to emanate in your life. So that is what is there. Understand the Bible. It didn't specifically say, all good things to one who believes. All things are possible. Good and bad are possible, as long as one believes. So it depends what you believe in. There, what it means. It depends what you believe in. If you believe in bad things will happen. So that means that you have to check your belief. Check the stock of your beliefs. What do you believe? Because you are experiencing certain things because of your belief, your environment, okay? Your situation, your conditions, wherever you are, is because you have believed on something that is incorrect. There is incorrect beliefs and correct belief. Okay? So if you can read also 10:27.
The same book of Mark?
Yes.
10:27. And Jesus looking upon them said, 27, and Jesus looking upon them said, with men it is impossible, but not with God. For with God all things are possible.
So it means that the one who believes, he brings God into a situation, into action, into motion. So it depends here what you believe. So belief can work in a negative and in a positive. So for you now, the question for you which I can leave to the listeners, to the viewers, for the question that I can leave it to them, it depends what they believe. If you believe in the accident at one time it will happen to you. Okay? It depends what you are planting in your mind. What you are planting in your mental world. So whatever that you are planting there, you will eventually reap in the near future. Now, if for you, if you still have time, I can tell you read also the Philippians 4 verse 8. So we are talking about, I'm saying, belief can work in a negative and positive. Now, what did Paul? What did Paul say?
Philippians 4:8.
Yes.
Finally, brethren, whatsoever.
Now we are reading. Finally, brethren.
Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue, and if there be any praise, think on these things.
Why? Because he knows. Because he was a mindset specialist also, Paul. Because Paul knew that everything comes from the mind, either negative or positive. Every situation, okay, every circumstance that you face in your life, it comes from the mind. The mind is a source. So since the mind is creative, it will create anything that it has been directed at. Since it can create anything, then Paul comes to say, brethren, finally, having started this mind issue, having concluded all things considered, I have come to this point. That's why he says, finally, brethren, whatever things are good, whatever things are of good report, whatever things are just, whatever things are honest, whatever things are pure, think about these things. Because these are the things that will come in your life. Don't think about bad things. If you think you are a failure, you will fail. If you think as I'm a leader, I think that the Zambians are nothing, the Zambian will be nothing. Okay? Because that's what I'm thinking. Okay? So, it is a transformation that is required in Africa right now. To believe in themselves. When you believe in yourself, it means you believe in God. When you believe in the external, if your reference point is the external, that means that you are a slave to that external force. External force, rather. Okay? Now, what do? We must come to the realization of the truth. The realization of the truth is that we were all made in the image and likeness of God. And God is a creator. And by that same token, we become creators. Why are we not creating? We are creating sometimes things that we don't want. We are creating negative because we are using our mind not in a correct way. And that is why this program has been designed deliberately, because it has been identified that where the problem is, it is not Zambia as the landmass. It is not the color of our skin. Okay? It is not the place where we are. It is mental. So what do we do then? We have to change our mentality. To change our mental from poverty consciousness to wealth consciousness. As long as we are still limited in that, people of this world will take advantage of. Because the law is, this is a universal law. There is a law which talks about universal oneness, divine oneness. Then the second law also, which people need to recognize that, which we are supposed to do, which must be met for all living things, and everything that does live on this planet Earth does do that particular law, that respect that law, is the law of giving.
You've talked about taking advantage, and we are supposed to conclude, or we are supposed to wind down. You've talked about taking advantage, and the question that I have: can we say African setup that there are people that have been taking advantage of Africa And even as individuals, as Zambians, can we say there are people that have been taking advantage of us despite us being 60 years of independence? Can we still say there are people that are taking advantage of us, and how?
They are taking advantage of our ignorance of and misunderstanding the law, the correct essence of the Bible. Okay? The correct position is that God resides in us. And God must manifest. We are here to express God. Okay? It's everything in this world there is only one. There is God. Everywhere, whether you talk about diamond, whether you talk about this mineral, whatever mineral that you are going to talk, whatever tree that you are going to talk about, there is only God. And God knows all things. And all things came from God. And the benefit now, therefore, that's why God gave himself. Became manifestation in man. And for a purpose of bringing the invisible things to visible. That is the purpose. That's why the prayer says, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. In heaven is an invisible realm. The earth is visible. So we are here to bring what is invisible to visible. And we can only do that if we believe, if we can use our minds properly. So if you don't know how to use your mind, people will take advantage of you. They will give you beliefs that are destructive. They will give you beliefs that are limiting you, that are not giving you that expressive attitude. Okay? So as a result, you will remain where you are, and then they will be growing. That is what has happened, and that is what is happening. Our poverty is a chance for others people to benefit. Our ignorance may be, other people may be taking advantage of the situation where we are in. Okay? So as a result, they will not want us to be enlightened. They will not want us to get the wisdom of our true self. Okay? They will not want us to get that wisdom. They will want us to remain in the manner that we are. And it is cause for us, African, for us, Zambian, for us, every person to say, no, this is not where we are supposed to be. This is not the station that God gave us. Then what can we do to order for us is mind transformation. Is to rethink. And think again. And then once we do that, it means that we have the internal realization that no, it is not, this is not where I'm supposed to be. My promised land is somewhere there. And I need to discover my promised land. And then we will have everything else that is going to come. But it requires, first thing first is mind. The mind must first reach. The imagination must reach our desired position. And when we reach there, then the same mind will come back and take us physically to where we are supposed to be. So that is where people have taken advantage of. I was talking about giving. Giving is the law. You can only be given if you are able to give. Okay? And that is why they call currency affluent. Okay? It means moving. It means to flow. So you must allow yourself to have and then to release it. That is why all things that are here on earth, they have to give in order to get. In order for the sky to have, okay, it has to give the rains. And in order for the soil to have water, it has to give back. So even us, you and me, must be able to give. Naturally, okay, subjectively, you and me are giving out right now to the universe or to the whole our existence. We are giving out carbon dioxide, right? Which the tree needs. And the tree is giving out what? Oxygen for you to exist. So we are all about giving. So find something to give out. So and the Bible says, blessed is the hand that gives. Is it true? It's a law. So you must find something to give, because The law is that when you give, you have to receive. It's the law of receiving and giving. So you find that we have nothing to give. We are only giving, you and me are only giving copper, which was created in its raw form, created by God. Why can't we turn this copper into something that we are able to give to the world? And then the world will give us the money, and then wealth comes in that nature. Wealth does not come by borrowing. Wealth does not come by receiving. Wealth comes by being creative. Creativity is the only answer to wealth, riches. We must be creative. And all those people that you talk about in this whole world who are wealth right now, they have been creative. Talk about Steve Jobs, he died, creative. Bill Gates, creative. Even these other people that you can do, they have created something that has given them money. People have to give money in order to get what they have created. So is to create something. Let's use our mind. The new generation now should be able to rethink and say, we must create now new Africa. New Africa must be created. New Africa that is thinking and that has admitted that this position where we are, it's not where we are supposed to be. Why are we here? We are here because those who lived after us, we did not create enough to contribute to the world. And that world has not given us the money. And the money is a result of giving. It just comes by giving your talent, by giving whatever you have. Okay? That money comes. Okay? Some people give entertainment. Okay? These footballers, what they give entertainment. And people who want entertainment, who are fans in that particular regard, give them money. And you give what you have. So let us be creative. And when we become creative in our nature, in a way how we do things, you will not even question this country will be wealth and there will be more money in Africa coming in because everyone will come here and buy things. That's the way China became wealth. Why? Because it's being creative. Okay? They created that in themselves, that we need to be creators. And you can say, no, the Chinese don't go to church the way we do ourselves, but God has given. No. It's that they have met the law. The law is impersonal. It's blind. God is blind. It's like the father of Jacob and Esau, Isaac. That's his life. Isaac is life. That's the Bible. Mana is the mind operation. So it talks about it is more on the psychological fact than on the historical fact. It's more on your psychology because it works your psychology. And your psychology is mind movement. The mind movement, that's psychology. So if they play on your psychology on the negative side, they will keep you there locked in the corner. But if they work your mind on the positive side, you will prosper. So we have been made, okay, psychologically we have been, through our education of course, we have been kept in the corner and thinking that what we learn at school is the end. No, it's the beginning. There is more we can learn through the universal contact. Okay? So that is how we can come out of a situation where we are in right now.
Mr. Siamunene, thank you so much for making an appearance on Mind Science. We've been looking at mind and belief. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, and thank you viewers for taking time to listen from us.
Thank you so much. There you have it. We've come to the end of Mind Science, Mindset Change program, and we've been looking at mind and belief with my guest, mindset expert or mindset change expert, Richwell Siamunene. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye for now.